kia timatonga no reira. Nau mai haere mai koutou mā, ki tēnei kaupapa Toi Ako anō. It's awesome to see some familiar names coming through again that have been attending a lot of our webinars over the last few weeks. E mihi ana tēnei uri o wakato o Ngāti Tamatera anō hoki Te Tai Tokerau kia koutou. Hei māngai mātua tangata, ngā mātou te whiwhi, ko tai mai tēnei kai kōrero, ki te kōrero tahi ki o mātou nei taha, tātou nei taha. So I'd like to welcome everyone again to our Toi Ako webinar. Couple of tikanga things as we go through it. If you've been on the webinar before, you'll know the communication methods in terms of how you pātai your pātai, how you ask your questions. So you've got the chat box down the bottom and or the Q&A section. So as any pātai come through, our tikanga today with the kai kōrero, kei aia te wā, she said that we can ask pātai at any time. So I'm gonna sort of semi-interrupt her when she's in her kōrero flow, as she's requested to get the kōrero flowing from our participants today. So nōku te wai marie, te mahi tahi, te taho tēnei wahine toa me ki, Davina Thompson. We've played on a few sports teams together. Kaimahi hoki, she's been in the sport and rec sector, and kaha ia ki te tautoko i te ao Māori, me ngai Māori, i ngā tauko pahure. I know she's an avid sportsman, ngākau nui ki te kaupapa, te ao Māori, ona tamariki, tōna whakapapa. And so just on behalf of the whānau, e mihi atu ana kia koe e hoa, ko te hihia naine, kia tuku te wā kia koe. So we'd like to pass over the virtual rākau kōrero kia koe e hoa. And you can take it away. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe. Oh, kia ora whānau. I'll just start with my name. Te mihi taku pāpā, te tahe taku pāpā, ko Te Arawa te waka, ko rua wahia te maunga, ko te awa te atua te awa, ko Te Arawa te iwi, ko rangitihi te marae, taku mihi te tahe taku māma, ko me māua te maunga, ko oreni, me tauranga te moana, ko mātātua me takitimu waka, ko hokowhitu, hina, me maunga tapu te marae, ko Ngāti Awa, Ngāti rangi nui, me Te Arawa te iwi, te moria. Kia ora. So kia ora whānau. I'm very honoured and humbled to be able to have a kōrero with you all today and share just a little bit about who I am and yeah, and just in the space of Rongoā Māori and Manaakitanga. Yeah, I don't know, I could talk about sports and everything else, but just for today we're going to talk about just our upbringing with the whenua and Rongoā and Manaakitanga. So I'm just going to start where it all started for myself. So on the screen here is my koro Pat and my nanny Polly on my father's side. So they raised us as you know, from babies, and I guess this is where for myself that connection of living with the land started, in manaakitanga and sharing and living together in a community. So our grandfather, he came over from England with his bike, and yeah, he stopped into a place called Matata, stopped into the pub there, and he met a lovely young Māori lady, which is my grandmother, and yeah, they married and they made one child, which was our father, Patrick Playle. And from there, yeah, we were raised with them, and we were very lucky, actually, fortunate to be raised. Well, they didn't have a car, and they lived off the land, so everything that we knew was from the land, and so we were very fortunate in that manner, to live like off the land and to learn everything from making hinaki, making whitebait nets, gathering kai, gardening mara with my koro. He actually wrote his diaries, which I've got, and every day he'd note the weather, he'd note what he was planting, he'd note his heningaro, he noted everything. And so I've got 50 years of his diaries here that hopefully I'm going to put into a maramataka sometime. So that's where it all started for me. Yeah. So from there, it went down to Dad. From Dad, it went down to us, his children. And I always recall being on that land or on the sea, gathering kai or fishing or diving or whitebaiting or setting the fishing net, gathering puha, growing kai. So everything that we lived by was from off the land and the sea and the awa. So for me, it's such an important connection to my whakapapa and to my identity. I've lived a few years in Australia, and I actually got sick because I didn't have that connection with the land and with our water. So I returned home and, you know, much better person. So yeah. These are my children here. This is one of my mum's marae here on the left-hand side. That's o tamarako marae. That's on her whakahemo side, Mākino side. So that's our marae there. That's the new one. And so we used to camp down there all the time. And whitebaiting season, there's a little bit of land there. And yeah, it's no longer there, but now I still take my children there and walk that railway bridge that was pretty scary when I was little. Yeah. And the one on the right is my boy Aramakaraka. He's our youngest one. He comes to work with me nearly all the time. And he helps me set the hinaki, check the hinaki, take the fish out of the bins. And yeah, so we're blessed to be able to pass down what we know to our tamariki.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, so this is our rangitihi marae. I've kind of like made it look flash there. So that's our marae matata, that's rangitihi. And this is our beach here. And then you look out there, there's Motohora. So that to me is home, that picture there. And on the right here is our mara. Down at the back there is Dad. So this is our kumara here that we grow. And we grow by the maramataka. Yeah, and the maramataka that I used in that mara there was actually Bill Tāwhai's maramataka. And yeah, we did really well with our kumara, and that's, you know, where that strong, that more defined knowledge of the maramataka came in, because I knew it as a child and was raised in it, but I was more raised in it like, oh, it's a good time to go eeling, oh, it's a good time to go fishing, oh, we got to go whitebaiting now when there's not the moon and the sun in the sky. And I used to think, oh, yeah. So these things that we learned as a kid, when you get older, like now, and you see these different maramataka charts and they become more defined, those little memories in your brains, you know, they click back to, I remember that when I was taught that. So that's super special. And yeah, please ask any questions, because yeah.
Yep, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
So in reference to the slide that you had on with the kumara, one of the partai reads, what does planting kumara by the maramataka look like? Can you give us some sort of insight into that?
Yeah, so a way that I know to plant the kumara is like when the kumara hoe blossoms. That's the time to plant the kumara, and we do our own tāpapa. So so that's when we put our kumara down into the beds, and then we wait for the tupu to come up, and then from there plant either tangaroa phase or rākau nui phase. We'll pluck the tupu and then put them into transfer them into the mounds, into the gardens, into the mara.
I think that partais come definitely from one of the previous webinar that we had a couple of weeks ago as well, which was talking about maramataka and the relationship with the kai. And I think one of the most popular things that came from that webinar was everyone was going to start putting the kumara into the wai to get the tupu started in that process. So I think a lot of people during this time have started to figure out that there are small things that you can do to start implementing that whakaaro into the way that you actually, I guess, function your mara, or the thought of a mara in your whare anyway.
Yeah, so that's actually interesting. And so we had two mara there. So you'll see this one that we got, this main one here, and then we got some in the bins at the back, those bins.
Right.
So I did like an experiment. So I planted some on rākau nui, which are these ones, and then we planted some in whiro, the ones in those bins in there. And this is just curiosity. And and actually the ones in here, they always grew amazing, massive. And then the ones that we grew in the crates, they didn't actually do too well. So I'm not going to say it's whiro because it could have been the temperature in the crates. Yeah, but definitely were planted different times. They were treated the same. But yeah, so Matua Bill Tawhai's reason the planting in different times was the ones at rākau nui, they'll be filled with, when you harvest them, they'll be big and they'll be lovely for the visitors. When you have manuhiri, they'll look nice, but they won't last as long as the ones that are harvested and planted on the, say like on the whiro phase. They'll be small, but they'll last longer, and yeah, small and last longer, and it'll be better to eat. Yeah.
Hi. Different learnings, different akoranga throughout the process.
Yeah. So yeah, now we'll go into a little bit of maramataka. Te mauri o te maramataka. As we got more into the defined, more articulate stuff of the maramataka, or mātauranga of the maramataka, we actually have our ngā pātaka kōrero o Te Arawa. So that's our little ropu in Te Arawa. And we've been together for about 4 years now, and we share a lot of observations, tohu o te moana, tohu o te whenua, tohu o te kararehe, tohu o te hau. But we were taught this by Papa Rere Makiha, so he taught us a lot of what we know and what we understand with the maramataka, and yeah, call him Papa and he's very close to our hearts. And so this is Papa here at the marae, te mahurehure. Yeah. So during maramataka, here I go again, I'm a bit curious. I decided, well, for about 13 years I've been doing my own contraception by the marama, by the moon, because I have too many side effects using contraception and all that. So I thought, well, I'll see if I can, I have one more try, baby number 5, and I marked the dates on my maramataka, and I knew what time that I was going to be able to conceive this one here. So you get one shot, and that was Rako Nui. That was when I knew I was my peak. So there we had yeah, that thing, and then I became hapu. So I actually followed the maramataka with Aramakaraka here. And he was born on Tangaroa Aotearoa, and he was born at high tide, and there was actually a seal out in the ocean, and he was waving to us because I had him at home. So he was waving out to us, had his fin out when I was in the water at our home, and just greeting Aramakaraka. So yeah, that's pretty special, and that's another one of those curious things that I do when I try and test the maramataka. So the maramataka that we, Our
whānau was quite similar in that, in terms of trying to link up to the maramataka. We have torunako tiro, and our last one was a tama. And so we're concentrating on aligning ourselves into that area as well. And so Rako Nui Hoki, Te Rau Tama, and then he was born on the whiro marama, and he was actually conceived in Hawaii. And so we, on a part of their maramataka near the Malama Aina, I think, we took the ingoa hilo, which was, you know, the whiro marama that he was born on. So, you know, we can relate really well to this particular side of the kaupapa as well. So mihi ana e hoa, kia ora.
Yeah, I called Aramakaraka Tangaroa as well, because he was born on the Tangaroa phase. And then I actually was looking through some kōrero from Best, and the kōrero in there was one of the kuia that's part of the, when they have the birthing, they go through the birthing ritual, should run outside and have a look what tide it was, because if it was a high tide, then the baby was a boy, and if it was a low tide, then baby would be a girl. So that's how they, you know, they were just, wow, they were just onto it as back then. So that was pretty interesting, because he was born right on, he was born in 1236. That was right on the peak of the high tide.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so this is the maramataka that we use here, and that is, we follow this, this is made by Irirangi Tiakiwa and Toby Rikihana. And this is, I mean, every, as you probably all know, every rohe has their own maramataka, even if, like, towns have their different maramataka. So this is the one that we use. And yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty spot on. We've seen some amazing tohu with our rohe, and you know, yeah, just, I don't know, it's just amazing, beautiful. It's kind of like church for us, really. It's so from there, I'll just quickly go through this, because you're probably going to see this come out very soon. I'm just working on the maramataka as a Māori model of wabi for wahine. So you'll see the alignments of marama with the wahine, the haputanga, so the life cycle of growing pupi and marama, the phases of marama in tune with our Māori and energy, and also the phases of marama in terms of our hine ngaro, and changing it from hine ngaro to hine marama. So I'm working on that at the moment with my master's thesis, and I'll bring it out soon once I finish it.
Oh boy.
So that's that one. That's Aramakaraka, my puku there, and that's him being born. So that's at home in Pukehina. Again, born, conceived on the Rākau Nui full moon, and that's that connection there for the maramataka. Okay, so we're just going to have a little kōrero now with our connection to rongoā. Again, I guess that connection with the rongoā for us came from our grandparents. Like I said, I can't think of any other thing more prominent in my life than living from the whenua and living from the sea, the moana. So, however, you know, they taught me things, but as you get older, they're gone, and you wish that you had to listen better, but you didn't. And so actually I was pretty blessed and guided by some close friends guided and then taught, went to wānanga with some very amazing tohunga Te Ao Māori now. So here, in my rongoā journeys strongly started when a friend of mine, Rob, he asked me if I was keen to go on the rongoā wānanga, because he knew the connection that, you know, that we had with the whenua and the trust that we were in. And I thought, wow, yeah, okay. And so I went to Pa's rongoā wānanga, and I'm going on the one in November. And I remember walking through the forest, through the Ngāhere, and just picking all these different rākau, and just his presence and being in the Ngāhere and being still, for me it was like, wow, like it just lifted the veil from seeing the Ngāhere as the, you know, like Ngāhere, to the Ngāhere and them being alive and being offering all their healing powers and their superpowers. And from that day I just haven't looked at the Ngāhere ever the same. I was actually fortunate to have Pa run a kōrero about the pāhara keke, the presentation I did with Parakore in Raglan. And so again, every time, you know, we get to see Pa, you know, I just sit there and just listen and just learn, because yeah, that kōrero and his mātauranga is really special. It's like our grandparents. Yeah, and then we had...
It's a, you know, even with the concept of the kupu rongoā and the, you know, the breaking up of the kupu kia rongo within it. So, you know, what you've just sort of talked about and what you've shared is, I guess, what it's supposed to be like, to hear, feel and sense that when you're going through the process of the rongoā. I guess in your journey with rongoā, are there aspects that aren't in the Ngāhere that you've seen or used in this process as well?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say the aspects of kai, you know, just like kai from the mara,
right.
You know, that's rongoā, and the kai that other people give you, that's rongoā. The kai from the ocean, that's rongoā. So there's all different facets of rongoā.
I agree. I think there's a strong connection in our whare to different elements for each individual. So some of our pepis are just ngahere pepis, and they just love to be in the ngahere. The others, they want to be in the moana or next to the awa. And some also have an urban environment that is their rongoā. I mean, I love the basketball court, so equally I feel a sense of rongoā when I'm in that space as well as I do if we are going for hiko and the ngahere as well. So I think it's a big part to sort of understand your alignment to them, right? In terms of which one is going to be the most healing for you in this instance. So I guess from the kōrero that you've been talking about in terms of the mātauranga that's been passed on to you, clearly it's been something that you've actually set up to be a way that you can manaaki others in the process, the same way that the ngahere or the moana has been able to manaaki yourself.
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. And even like with sports and fitness, that's also my rongoā. When I go for runs, people hate running, but I actually see it as a meditation. Like when I run, my body tells me things like I'll have a sore knee or something's up, and then I'll know, through running, you're able to channel into your body, and because I ate something silly or something like that. So yeah, that's why I guess sports have been pretty important in my life as well as my kids too. I've got Marino, he's the one that's the basketball, that's his rongoā. Yeah. Yeah. And so also I just want to give also thanks to David Kukutai Jones. I remember when he first came to see me, or when we first met, I had wharekai cafe, and I was actually doing like little bits of rongoā, and then he came in, and his presence alone was like bang, like I just went wherever he was. And he spoke of the karamu and the kawakawa, and I remember it to this day. And then I went to his wānanga, and again, amazing. He's just next level, and I highly respect him and what he teaches. And I speak to him, or when I speak to him, he tells me stuff, and then I listen deeply, and so he's another one that's taught me in that rongoā space, and I'm very grateful for that. So then here we go. We have our children here. So here we have Mikaere. So this is my boy here. People might know him as Fish Boy. He's my one that comes out with me harvesting or gathering the rongoā, or just going out doing mahi kai. He's that one.
Rongonui Tera Tama is a famous boy, that boy.
Yeah. He's out there with me, and so he has that, as you know what you were saying, he has that gift for being out doing mahi kai rongoā. He does the karakia for me when we harvest and when we gather kai, and he growls me sometimes, and it's kind of oh okay then. So he's got a pretty old soul. So in this photo here, it was kind of funny. We got asked if we could do some rongoā packs for te māhurehuri, for me akohi. And I said, oh yeah, okay then. And then he comes back, hey karewi, you've got to do, can you do 450? And I thought, wow, we've never done that many before. And I thought, oh well. So we, we did karakia on it, and I thought about it, and didn't think too hard. I just went with the heart and said, yeah, we can do it. And so I was driving to work, And then I was going over the hill in Rotomars, and I said a karakia to Wānui o Tāne, and I said, look, how are we going to get all this road to make this many packs? And drive over, and then I went around the lake, and then about 10 minutes up, this big kawakawa tree had fallen down.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, that's tohu there. So that's the tree that we've got here. We took it to our puna at home, and then we cleansed the rākau, and he had makairi here. He did a karakia when he did the karakia when we put them in the car, and then we were doing the cleansing, and then before we making the pani, and then when we sent them out. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And
Is Mekairi, has all of his learnings been alongside yourself, or have there been other influences in there?
Yeah, my dad, so he gets taught a lot from dad. He's that hoha moko that wants to go everywhere with his koro. So yeah, dad teaches him a lot, and he's got his uncles. They take him because he's just like that one that's always asking everyone to take him fishing and stuff. Yeah.
So his whakaaro in and around ngā mahi karakia, ngā tikanga Māori, is that something that you see him being a real leader in the future around this kaupapa?
Yeah, only because ever since he was born, or ever since he could communicate, he was in tune with firstly the fish. He'd hide my 7 frames away in the fridge. There was only like 2. And then I'll think, I'm sure I had 7 there in the fridge. And then I'd go, oh, well, whatever. And then I'll let him look under the table, and I'll kick something, and he's actually hidden the 7 frames away. He'd hide the fish away that I had in the fridge, so I didn't eat them. And so he never couldn't speak, but he was already connected in that way. And he just has a connection with the taiao and with animals and with fish.
Sure.
I wasn't like that. Bloody little, nah. But yeah, he's got that connection, and he's just started wearing shoes, but most of the time he doesn't like wearing them. And he sees things that I can't see, like you'll see a kahu like way down up in the sky, and I'm like, where? But he can see them. So yeah.
Ka pai. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, so on the right side there, that's my other boy, that's Perez, child number 2. He's got that different energy to Mekairi. He's got a more patient, more, Mekairi's a hautatu, a more higher energy, where Perez is more of a still, old koro energy. So I've started taking him out to harvest or pick the rau and teach him the rongoā. And he's also the tech one, so I've got his life destined for him. All the kids are investments, so I'm teaching them what they need to do now for the future. In terms of mahi kai rongoā, living up on land.
There's a part I come through. Do you have any advice for whānau who are just beginning this journey and want to share that with their tamariki?
Oh yeah. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to go out there, and even if you start with little things. I remember when I first started rongoā, I only knew what kawakawa was, and then I knew what karamu was, and then you take your kids with you and you both build your kete up together, and like try and make it fun. Sometimes you just got to tell them to be quiet and listen, and yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think as kids, they don't look like they're listening, but they actually do, and they'll just come out with random kōrero, and you think, oh, they are listening. So yeah, start anytime, and it doesn't matter. You know, don't have to be an expert. You'll build up as you grow together. Yeah.
Ka pai, kia ora.
Okay, so we're just going to talk about the COVID-19 Rāhui. Again, we were asked by Te Kau, our cousin from Te Māhure Marae, to make rongoā kete for our whānau. So us being us, we went in Operation Rongoā Kete. Had a little portable element at home, and I had a $10 barbecue, and I had a slow burner, and I thought, well, I don't know how we're going to do this, because we were in, what was that, state of emergency. So the options that I had for resources was very limited. And anyway, I just had this feeling within me, and this probably comes back to my upbringing, to trust, fully trust in our ancestors, and fully trust in our tipuna, and I knew that they would provide. So I put a pānui on my Facebook page and asked whānau for ingredients or for koha, so that we could be able to fulfill this, what we did. And it was just amazing. Whānau donated beeswax, and then I learned how to render honeycombs, and whānau gave koha, and it was probably one of the most beautiful moments of my life, when you have whānau that I didn't even know help, because they wanted to help whānau, because they didn't, they wanted to help, but they didn't know how. And so we were able to make 450 rongoā kete, which you see in the photo, for the second drop of care packs that went out to Ngāpuhi ki Tamaki Makaurau. Also had a friend, Soaps by Roy. She donated over 400 soaps, and we were able to put those inside the packs. Again, our children are fully involved with everything. The middle one, we have Whaitiri. She's Marino's girlfriend. She came up to Te Māhure Marae, and we pretty much had 2 hours sleep, and we're up again making these packs. Also my daughter there, she was next to me the whole time. She doesn't really like harvesting, that's more of her brother's jam, but she likes this bit here, like on the table, and she likes telling me when the pani is ready, and then she likes straining it, and she likes putting them into the containers and labeling it. So she likes all that orderly stuff, which is cool, because I'm not so orderly.
That's a good reflection of how hapu and iwi have functioned in the past, in terms of your contribution to the iwi being something that's purposeful. And so you've talked about the example of your tama being really loving being in the ngāhere and doing that mahi, whereas your kōtiro's on the other end of that, wanting to get the final pieces together and turn it into its final sort of state. And I think from the kōrero that I'm hearing from you fellas are all showing different forms of aroha, manaaki, that's going into the process of that rongoā, which is the kaupapa of this kōrero i tēnei rā, so i tēnei pō. So mihi ana ki tō whānau who are showing the practical elements of how you can showcase each of those things within this space. So e mihi ana e hoa. It's awesome. And I think it's, you know, reflective of the times that we've been in. You've utilized social media in a way that some people might not have in the past, you know. It was a karanga that was returned via the virtual setting, and you were able to source all of this this resource in a time where people were probably thinking they're not going to be able to get very much. So he miharo te reo, kia ora.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'm just going to tell you the story. I was out harvesting some rongoā kumaraho actually, and I was away from my home because it doesn't grow around here. It grows out. And I went for a checkpoint, and this cop said, you know, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm gathering some rongoā for the rongoā kete, for the whānau, Ngāpuhi whānau and Te Māhurehuru Marae in Auckland. You know, gave him this big speech, and he's like, that's not actually an essential service. You're not meant to be out here. And I said, well, actually, it is an essential service to our people. And I showed him my essential business thing on my phone, and he had a smile, and he smiled, and he goes, oh yeah, you can go through, and he goes, good luck, and you know, all the best and safe travels. And I said, oh, where are you from? And he said he was from Italy. And you know, there was that connection with that police officer was again special, because he kind of learned this little fast track of what we do to manaaki, our elders here. And yeah, that was pretty cool, getting through the checkpoint, being a rongoā gatherer. And he looked at my car, and it was just trees and leaves everywhere. So you know, it was a pretty cool moment there. So yeah. So this is Te Māhurehuru Marae. All up, we did about 950 rongoā kete in total, with all our beautiful whānau here from Te Māhurehuru Marae. So they've done three drops, 3 care packs, and next week they're doing could be their final. I'm not going to say it's the final, because they keep going. So this is where we did nearly the bulk of our mahi with our rongoā kete. Just looking at this photo just makes me a bit emotional, because they took us in as whānau, and now, you know, now we've got somewhere to call home every time we go up to Tamaki Makaurau. I actually didn't even know that this marae existed, Te Māhurehuru Marae. And I just want to thank our whānau here, Tracy and Papa, Christine, Johnny, Dave. They just work day in, day out, long hours. And you know, they're just full of aroha, and they just want to manaaki our people and feed our people. And Te Kau, he's not actually in this photo. Yeah, they're just amazing. So this is our manaaki, our whānau and Te Māhurehuru Marae.
Ka pai kare, he pātai te tahi o hoa actually, mai kāla matua. Kia ora kua, rawe tō mahi e hoa di. In terms of sustainability, whakaro around the empowerment of others to learn, source others who have knowledge to support within their own hapu. So Ngāpuhi, look after Ngāpuhi, that type of thinking. Any ideas how the sustainability and empowerment within our own hapu and iwi can be initiated? Te ao whakaro.
Yeah. I think we need to actually start looking after those and appreciating them more, because they're there, but they, you know, what I've seen, they don't get really looked after that well. You know, our kairongoā and our communities and our marae, we really need to put them up put them up higher. We need to uplift them because they hold so much mātauranga. And say if we have more wānanga, if we have more whare wānanga, that's perfect. We need whare wānanga so they can teach and bring, you know, pass their knowledge down, because some of these people have got the last of the knowledge of, like my cousin Rāhui Te Kōwhai, for instance. He's got the last of the knowledge of our tohunga and Te Arawa. And, you know, we need to fund these tohunga so then they can teach others. And I know they don't ask for funding, but, you know, they need to be looked after. So there definitely needs to be a platform for them so then they can teach others. Just like how we have coaches that teach our kids sports, we need to have the same thing for our kairongoa. Yeah, I think that'll uplift everything.
Is that something you might be, you know, in terms of being a part of, could be something that you could sort of, I guess, help to create a model of, you know, how rongoa might look in each hapu or in each iwi, he whakaaro pia. I mean,
yeah,
you've lived the experience of being able to provide for a hapu or an iwi during this period, and, you know, with the hands that you guys had on deck, you know, how can we turn that into something that's a consistent kaupapa that we're doing for a lot of our hapu and iwi ne? I think that's probably one of the things that we've got to consider. And it's, you know, with the household that you have, you were able to produce this amount of mahi in this side with your ngākau nui, but you're right, and I think in terms of creating roles in those places where whānau can actually tautoko each other in that process as well. Painoa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I would love to be a part of that, to fulfill our tohunga that I know have shared stories with me, so it can be shared to our tamariki, to our rangatahi, to our whānau that actually want to learn as well, but also the connection to the tai ao. That's probably, yeah, like people say, oh, don't you get tired? Oh, why don't you just stop doing that? And I'm like, no, I don't get tired because I go walk in the ngahere and it just recharges me up again. And, you know, you have a kōrero to the manu, you have a kōrero to the rākau, you sit there and you hug the tree, you hongi the tree, and your energy levels are restored. And then you make the pani. That's probably about the most tiring part, is that part that I don't like, that my daughter likes. That's probably my bit that I don't like so much of. But then you go to the marae and you greet the people and you give the rongoā out. So it's a sustainable cycle of energy. Yeah, of Māori. I haven't thought of that, but yeah. Okay, so just finishing off. In total, we were able to do to make 1,260 rongoā kete. On the left there, that was our last lot that we did last night. That was 100 rongoā kete that was going to our ngaitirangi whānau and tauranga moana. And with that, we were able to provide rongoā kete to whānau from Kawarau all the way up to Paihia. We just used whatever we could, and we put full trust into our tipuna, into our ancestors, and into our loved ones that have gone, just always having a kōrero with them.
There's a question that's come through. Have you experienced the tension between providing rongoā for healing versus money to sustain practice? And that's how have you navigated this?
That's a good question. I'm still battling that question myself. That's a hard one, and I can't actually answer that fully because I'm still in the whakaaro of my own that you can't put a price tag on rongoā. And that's, yeah, that's, I've stood next to that, and yeah, when people ask me how much is your rongoā, I always say I don't have a price. I have, I do by koha, and
i pira hoki tō whare kai ne?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, the whare kai was the same process as well. So I think it's probably an example of, you know, the two, I guess, in terms of your thinking in and around rongoā and being able to provide kai as well. I mean, you know, I've seen some of the kōrero that you've put out around being able to support those kainga kore ne. I think, well, no, it wasn't kainga kore.
Yeah.
Their home is Aotearoa ne, so their home is New Zealand, so they're just no house, let alone a home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, and then you know, I try and find some kind of sustenance to say, Davina, put a price tag on it. And so today I've just finished my I call them the tai o whānau, the rongoā whānau that I've made. And then I thought about it, you know, like the packaging alone was pretty expensive, and the ingredients that I've used is also quite expensive. And, you know, I think about, is it time for me to put a price on the rongoā, because just to cover those costs. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. Sorry, I can't. I still battle. It's my own battle in my own mind. Yeah.
That's good. Each, you know, every whānau is going to be different too. You know, te whakaaro tētahi mai tētahi ki tētahi atu he rerekē. So that, I think that's quite a big question, and one that probably would take a wānanga space to get amongst. Ne?
Yeah. So this is just a little, what is that thing called? Collation or whatever of all the, well, not all of them, but some of the pau in my life, and I just want to thank all these people. Just the picture here with me graduating, right in the in the corner in there, the smile, that's Matua Vaughan. So I did my bachelor's in humanities, and that alone was rongoā for my education and stuff, and that taught me a lot in terms of how to process conflict and how to talk through stuff, and, you know, colonization and all that kind of, that's a different kaupapa, but he taught us a lot in that space, and these are the other people here. And it's so important that we look after these people in our community, because they hold so much knowledge, and yeah, they did get looked after, but yeah, taonga. And lastly, yay, my kids. So there's all my kids there, all 5 of them. There's Dad, so it's pretty much my pau. He's he still doesn't know how to text properly. He doesn't have a Facebook. He doesn't know how to work a computer.
I think there's a handful of papa who are like that, and Kuia as well. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good, because he's just like totally not. When I get hoha, things just totally doesn't understand what I'm talking about, and it makes me think, oh, it's not even relevant. So yeah, but yeah, kia ora whānau, and thank you for listening. It's been a bit of a journey going through all that.
I think it's sparked up a few memories for you, ne? I think when you're going through the process of making your presentation and us sort of prepping, you was like, oh, oh no, I'm going to change that. We'll put some other stuff in there now. So, te mea pai rawa o tēnei kaupapa ki au nei, you know, he Māori katoa te whakaaro o roto. So this whole process and the whakaaro that you've sort of taken us through in the transition, I guess, is a timeline of lived experiences that contribute to, you know, the concept that you've sort of tabled with us tonight in terms of manaaki, tangata, aroha, and rongoā, and how the three sort of can't live without each other. And I think that's a big influence in terms of ngā mahi katoa i roto i te ao Māori and how you approach your kaupapa, whether it be i rongoā, i roto i te mara, i roto te ngahere, i roto te moana. I think your examples of the different ways that you can, you know, have sustenance from some things and some rongoā that have the healing properties, and people's different whakaaro around certain things, it plays a really important part in the actual growth of your connections to each of these kaupapa as well. So one thing that I was hoping, if there weren't any more partai from any of our participants, was maybe what's maybe 3 tips that you might be able to leave with our participants in terms of how they can start to engage this space.
3 tips, 3 things that I go by. Just put your full trust into our ancestors, into our tupuna, like thank them, even if it's little things, just thank them, talk to them, they're there. I'm not a seer, I can't see, but I can feel them and I know that they're around. Ask them for guidance, and you know, that's probably my first and foremost. Our atua, that's probably my first and foremost. Second one is always be just share manaaki, aroha. Even if you got nothing, just give anyway. Don't be scared to ask the universe to provide, because man, our atua, they provide. Yeah, just always have an open heart. And third is I say this to my kids all the time: apply yourself to everything you do, and that and channel into whatever you do. Just focus, apply yourself, and give your 100% best. And that's pretty much something. You're gonna learn heaps of lessons, but yeah.
Mā te apo ka mōhio once, you know, through that process you're going to learn. Ka pai. I runga I tēnā, ko te hehe noiho te tukumihi atu kia koe e hoa, mō ngā kōrero ko whakatakoto here mō mātou. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our attendees. I muri I tēnei, ko te hehe, we will send out the evaluation as we have done from the previous webinars, and with a bit more information into some possible places that you could source more information if you do want to. So Davina and I are going to set up a couple of things to tautoko the kōrero that she shared I tēnei pō. Engari e mihi ana kia koutou katoa. Ko te mea nui, kia noho haumaru koutou I tēnei wā. So hopefully everyone's staying safe in their bubbles and things are starting to get back to normality as we move into this next phase of this Rāhui me ki. So kia koutou katoa, e mihi atu ana te whanau o Toi Tangata, kia koe Davina, kia koutou hoki ngā tangata kua tai mai I tēnei pō. Nō reira, kia ora tātou.
Kia ora. Kia ora.